sitting for the session. So today let us have a discussion about the physical quantity. We are already discussing about the physical quantities, and this is another physical quantity, that is mass, length, mass and time. They are the fundamental quantities. We have been discussing about them. And mass is one of the very important things. So we have to know about. See, in our day-to-day life, every moment we keep using this mass. For example, mass is measured with the help of a common balance. We go to the bazaar to take tomatoes or potato or any vegetables or anything. There we use a common balance. After we go to the shop, you see there is a common balance. This is called a common balance. So on one pan you will be putting the weight, the stone, and the other pan you will be giving whatever the required things for you. So my dear friends, mass is measured with a common balance. So what we are buying from the market is not weight, but it is the mass. Mass is nothing but the quantity of matter contained in a body. It is called mass. Mass is the quantity of matter contained in a body. It is called its mass. So this is very important. And mass is mostly constant. Wherever you go, weight will change, but mass will not change. Mass is almost a constant quantity throughout. So my dear friends, coming to general things, generally we measure mass in terms of grams, kilograms in general in our day-to-day life. In 1 kg we are having 1000 grams are there. Kilo stands for, yesterday we have discussed, kilo stands for 10 power 3. 10 power 3 means 1000. So 1 kilo is nothing but equal to 1000 grams are there in 1 kilogram. Generally we use grams and kilograms in our day-to-day life. But when we just take the higher unit, quintals. For example, if a farmer is producing some paddy or something, he will be expressing in terms of quintals. The output of the field, he will be expressing in terms of quintal. So 1 quintal is nothing but equal to 100 kgs. 100 kg is called 1 quintal. So you must know this terminology. That is 1 quintal is 100 kgs. And if you just take for the higher unit, we use even ton. Both ton or metric ton, both means the same. You did not get confused. Ton or a metric ton, anything you can use is nothing but 1000 kgs. So generally when we are getting some export or import, anything is being said in terms of tons. What is its ton? When the aeroplane is flying, you will be saying the weight of the aeroplane is in tons. So in that way, we use tons in our day-to-day life. When you are using the air conditioner, AC, how much is its capacity? How many tons? We will be discussing about ton. So ton means is nothing but 1000 kg is called 1 ton. You must ton or metric ton, both means the same. And in FPS system we use pounds to measure. The mass is measured in pounds. So you should know what is the meaning of what pound. So 1 pound is nearly equal to 0.45 kilograms, less than half kg. Less than half kg, very near to half kg. Is 1 pound. In terms of pounds we will measure. If 1 kg is taken, nearly 1 kg is nothing but equal to nearly about 2.2 pounds. So in that way, you should know whether what is the kind of conversion you have in terms of mass. So my dear friends, today we have seen about the mass, and I request all of you, what is your mass? Find out your mass. See, any person is going to be healthy when he maintains mass and height. The proportion of the mass and height should be maintained. For example, if your height is 150 centimeters height, then your mass must be minus 100. Means 150 minus 100, that is 50 kgs. So you must have the weight of 550 kgs plus or minus 2 is acceptable. So today your homework is find out your height in centimeters, minus 100 you do it. How many kgs you are getting, how much you are getting, you see. If for example your height is 160 centimeters, then your height is 160 minus 100, that is 60. So your weight must be 60 plus or minus 2. Then you are a healthy person. So that is very important. Your mass is very important. Maintenance of this mass is very important. I request all the students just to by heart this and we use a common balance as measuring the mass. So hello friends, this is another physical quantity, that is time. Now we are discussing about time. Every one of us know about time, most important thing. So in our physics, generally the morning time up to 12 o'clock we say AM, and from 12 onwards we go for saying PM, ante-meridiem and post-meridiem. In one day we are having, in mean solar day, means in one day we are having 24 hours. Every hour is having 60 minutes, every minute is having 60 seconds. So in one mean solar day means 86,000, when you multiply all this you get 86,400 seconds. So in one mean solar day we have 86,400 seconds. So 1 by 86,400 part of a day is called 1 second. So my dear friends, now what is how, for example, you take a pendulum. Generally in the olden days we used to find out the time using a pendulum clock. A seconds pendulum. Let us see what is the meaning of a seconds pendulum. What is a pendulum? This is a bob. We are suspending it with suspending it from a point of suspension. This is the point of suspension. From the point of suspension to the center of the bob, this length is called the length of the pendulum. To the center of the bob, that is called the length of the pendulum. Oscillation means from the mean, this is called the main portion and this is called the extreme portion. Mean portion to the extreme portion, again to the extreme portion to the main portion, we say it is one complete oscillation. The time taken for one complete oscillation we call it as 2 seconds. This is called the time period. The time taken for one complete oscillation is time period. For in the case of a seconds pendulum, the length of the pendulum is 100 centimeters. In the case of a seconds pendulum, we take the pendulum, the length of the pendulum is considered as 100 centimeters, and the time period is 2 seconds. 2 seconds is the time period of a seconds pendulum. So my dear friends, in the olden days, in the previous days, we used this pendulum to find out the time. Now you came to know what is the meaning of the length of the pendulum, what is the meaning of time period, time taken for one oscillation. Now you came to know what is the meaning of one oscillation, mean portion to the extreme portion, again to the extreme portion, again to the mean portion. That complete is called one oscillation. That time taken for one complete oscillation, the time period of the seconds pendulum is 2 seconds. So my dear friends, in the railways and in the airways, they use the 24 hours time. 24 hours time. So from 12 o'clock onwards, one will be called as 13. They will be adding like that. 14, 15 like that. So 24 hours clock is being used. So even if it is 24-hour clock is being used, you can even convert it according to your convenience. If you subtract 12, you will get the rest of the time. So my dear friends, the time is being, every one of you, in the olden days the time was mentioned with the help of the stars, sun, moon, they used to take the help of all these things. But today we are having sophisticated machineries to find out the time. Electronic devices are there to find out the time. And time is one of the most important thing. A person, the difference between a normal person and the leader is the way in which he uses his time. So my dear friends, try to use your time to the best. Temperature. Generally, temperature is also one of the very important thing in our day-to-day life. If our body temperature is maintained, we are healthy. If our body temperature shoots up or down, in any case, we are sick. So my dear friends, every substance is having a definite temperature. It has a melting point, it has a boiling point. You take liquid like a coconut oil, you take water, you take any substance. It has its own melting point, it has its own boiling point at different temperatures. Depending on the pressure, it depends on other conditions also. But temperature is one of the very important things. And today we are able to stand on this planet, we are able to live on this planet because the temperature of the planet is suitable for us to live. For example, my dear friends, here the temperature is not too extremely low, not too extremely high. We are able to live on this planet. My dear friends, the same moon is also at the same distance from the sun. The distance between the earth and the sun and distance between the moon and the sun are both the same. But the morning temperature on the moon is more than 100 degrees centigrade. 100 degrees centigrade means like boiling water. It's very hot. We can't live on moon. In the morning time it's very high. If you take the night time, again it is minus 80 degrees centigrade like that. It's very low. Again in that temperature we cannot live. So that is the reason why life sustainment is very difficult on moon, though we are all at the same distance from the sun. So the temperature, because of this maintenance of this temperature, we are able to live. So maintaining of this temperature is a key resource for our life. This is the reason why we are able to live on this planet. So let us thank God for giving this suitable temperature, and water is also playing a key role in this. Okay, let us discuss it later. Now let us see, in this particular case, temperature. If you go to a hospital, your temperature is being measured with a clinical thermometer. In the olden days, they used to put in the mouth and find out, and mercury was used. In the liquid used within it is mercury. There are different types of thermometers are there. Mercury thermometer is there, alcohol thermometers are there, gas thermometers are there, electric thermometers are there, magnetic thermometers are there, variety of thermometers are there, different ranges. Everyone is having its own range. We are not now considering all these things. But today mostly we are using the electronic devices. You go anywhere, now they just they have a small click and they will be seeing the temperature. No, the things are going very fast. Now let us see. Generally the temperature is measured in terms of degree centigrade, degree Fahrenheit and Kelvin. My dear friends, Kelvin is the name of a scientist. Kelvin is also, there is a speciality of per Kelvin. Kelvin has given a great research work in this field of temperature, and he was the youngest professor. He became a professor scientist at the age of 17. He became a scientist, and also he is called the oldest student. At the age of 72, he was going to the college as a student. He was going to the college. So after his name, this unit was given after his name, that is Kelvin. So okay, my dear friends, let us see. For example, how to convert from degree centigrade to degree Fahrenheit to degree Kelvin. Let us see how this happens. If you take a thermometer, this means a narrow tube which is having a capillary. Capillary means a thin tube, a very thin tube. That's called capillary, very thin tube. That's called a capillary. And there is a bulb here, and this bulb is having some mercury in it. Mercury, why we are taking mercury? Again, there are different reasons for that. Some of the reasons are mercury is the metal in the liquid state. Metal in the liquid state. And mercury is having more surface tension. It doesn't, the angle of contact is more. Its surface tension is very high. As a result, it cannot stick anywhere. It will not stick anywhere. While coming back, completely it comes back. So while going up, completely, no air gaps between. So because of this high surface tension, we are using mercury. Is one of the reasons. And good conductivity, because it is a metal. Metals are good conductors. So good conductivity. Mercury is, you can see it very comfortably. Because of its luster, you can see it very comfortably. You can see it through this transparent glass. You can see it and you can find it out. It's very easy. So okay. My dear friends, now when we are taking this container, this mercury bulb we are taking in ice pieces, and we are keeping this ice piece at the STP, standard temperature and pressure, at STP. Normal pressure means atmospheric pressure, 1 atmospheric pressure. So at the sea level. So my dear friend, when this is the situation, this mercury contracts and comes to one point and stands there. You keep for 1 more hour, again it will not come further, but it will stand. That particular point is called a lower fixed point. That is called a lower fixed point. This lower fixed point, you are calling it as 0 degree centigrade. You are marking it as 0 degree centigrade. Now, similarly, you are taking another one where you want Fahrenheit. The same 0 degree centigrade, you are just giving that mark as 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Just the number is different, that's all. Conditions, all conditions are the same. Ice. You are putting in ice and that lowest fixed point we call it as 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The same thing you are doing here also. The same lowest fixed point you are calling it as 273 Kelvin. 273 Kelvin. See, for Kelvin we don't use degree. Degree will not be used for Kelvin. Degree is used for degree centigrade, degree Fahrenheit, Kelvin. That's all. For Kelvin, no degree Kelvin. Okay, that is called the lower fixed point. We call it as 273 Kelvin. See, the names are different, but physically all means the same. All are kept at STP, means atmospheric pressure, and all are kept in the same ice. And this lowest point is called as the lower fixed point. In this particular case, it is degree centigrade, 0 degree centigrade. In this particular case, we call 32 degrees Fahrenheit. In this 273 Kelvin. Means all the three are equal. 0 degree centigrade is equal to 32 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 273 degrees Kelvin. Names are different, scales are different, but meaning is the same. Physically they are made the same. Now you replace this ice and now you put the steam. Now you put the steam at STP. Now you are heating it. Now you are heating it and you are replacing with the steam now. You know that water boils at STP, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. When it is atmospheric pressure is 1 atmospheric pressure is maintained, pure water without any pollutants, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Now when the water is boiling, now you are putting in the boiling water and steam. Both are at 100 degrees centigrade, my dear friends. Now this is changing. Your container is being replaced from ice to steam. So my dear friends, when it is during the process, when you are heating your container, you see that as the heat is increasing, as the container is increasing its temperature, you see that this mercury is slowly rising up because expansion heating, metal expansion heating. So this expansion is taking place and it is just expanding, and finally it is reaching one fixed point. That is called the higher fixed point. Even after heating for 1 more hour, after attaining the higher fixed point, it will not still increase its height. So that is the highest point. That point we call as a higher fixed point. That point we are representing in the degree centigrade scale thermometer as 100 degrees centigrade. And this gap between 0 to 100 degrees centigrade, this gap is being divided into 100 equal parts. This gap, that distance is divided into 100 equal parts. So now you are getting degree centigrade thermometer. Now in this case, same thing, you are doing the same steam, you are again at standard temperature, standard pressure, at atmospheric pressure you are taking this, and your higher fixed point is at a marked as 212 degrees Fahrenheit. 212 degrees Fahrenheit means 100 degrees centigrade is also equal to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Both means the same. Physically both means the same, and this gap is being divided into 180 parts. That gap between 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 212 degrees Fahrenheit, that gap is divided into 180 equal parts. Similarly, the same thing you are doing, you are putting in the steam at atmospheric pressure, and here the highest point, that is the higher fixed point, is represented as 373 degrees, 373 Kelvin. 373 Kelvin. And this gap is divided into 100 equal parts, similar to that of the centigrade temperature. So now we are getting 3 thermometers are ready for you. One is centigrade thermometer, one is Fahrenheit thermometer, one is Kelvin thermometer. 3 thermometers are getting ready. Now let us see the standard form. Let us see. To convert between, you must know how to convert centigrade to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to centigrade, Kelvin to Fahrenheit, Kelvin to centigrade, centigrade to Kelvin. You must be in a position to change from one to the other. Okay. So my dear friends, now this is a standard table which you have to remember it. C minus, C means you can take any value. Say any value here, some value here. That is C. I am just taking it randomly as C. You can take it as any value. C minus 0, lower fixed point, that is 0 here. Divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point, means 100 minus 0. Similarly, that is equal to the same random point taken here, we call this F. Some point, you can take F anywhere you wish. So this Fahrenheit scale F is equal to F minus 32, this is the lower fixed point, divided by that is the upper fixed point minus lower fixed point is equal to, similarly if you take the Kelvin scale, K minus 273 divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point, that is 373 minus 273. So in the next step, C minus 0, you will not consider 0, so I just have taken as C by 100 is equal to F minus 32 by this. If you subtract, you will get 180. That's the reason why this gap is divided into 180 equal parts. That's equal to K minus 273 by 100. So if you have this table in your mind, you must by heart. This must be stored in your mind. This must be remembered, my dear friends. Every day you have to see the table once, then you can remember. If that table, if you remember this table, you can do a number of problems can be solved by you. So my dear friends, now I think you might have understood the difference between centigrade scale, Fahrenheit scale and the Kelvin scale. If you go to the clinical thermometer, a clinical thermometer is having just slight curve here, so that expansion is possible but contraction directly it cannot go. It can only go only when you apply some pressure over it. It can just, the mercury can go inside. And for a healthy person, the temperature is maintained as 37 degrees centigrade is being maintained. For a healthy person, okay, the temperature 2 degrees that side or this side is okay, but more than that we can't live, the cells cannot live. So to maintain this temperature, one must maintain a good health. Healthy person indicates that your temperature is maintained. So my dear friends, let us now do some problems in solving, in converting from one scale to the other scale. So madam, now you can let us discuss some problems here.
7 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Okay. So 37 degrees centigrade, 37 degrees centigrade
to
is equal to how much? In Fahrenheit, how much it is? X Fahrenheit. We don't know. X degrees Fahrenheit, we don't know. We must find it out. So now we have to take the relation between these two. Means already we know that C by 100 is equal to F minus 32 by 180. You know this. Because we want the conversion between centigrade and Fahrenheit, we will take only these two. Now, the C value is already given to you. That is 37 degrees centigrade is given to you. So now replace it with it. 37 by 100 is equal to F minus 32 by 180. This 180 you can bring it here. So this 180 you can just bring it here. So my dear friends, I just brought this value this side. 0 and 0 gets cancelled. So my dear friends, just multiply 37 into 18, you will get 666. Just do it. I request all of you, this is the most important place. Generally, if any multiplication comes, here in this case you have to multiply 37, you have to multiply 37 into some kind of 18 or something, you got some multiplication. This is the most important point which I would like to discuss. And I have seen in all my experience, most of the children will be copying the answers from the 19 students. Someone will do and someone will tell an answer and they will be just simply copying. No, please don't do that. Please by heart the tables. At least how much you can do, if it is possible, by heart up to 20 tables. If you can't by heart up to 20 tables, at least by heart up to 10 tables. In the beginning, but slowly you increase the number of tables up to 20. Please see that you are focusing on by hearting the tables which is going to, in any of the competitive examinations, either any of the competitive examinations, calculators are not allowed. Please try to remember, your calculators are not allowed. Your any kind of, even today we are having in watches we can do the calculation, but watches are not allowed. So everything, even a pen is not allowed, because in some of the examinations even the pens are not allowed. So even the shoe is not allowed. So he has to come with empty hand. So my dear friends, you must be well equipped in doing calculation. Please don't depend on your friend. Please don't depend on your machine. Put a calculator in front of you. Verify after doing, you just click and see whether you are right or wrong. But please don't depend. Learn the tables. Learn the tables. Do your own multiplication. It may waste you 5 minutes time, no problem. But do it. This is my sincere advice and sincere request to all the students. So okay, when you are multiplying 18 into 37, you can just multiply and you can see. You just do it, my dear friends. Don't depend on anybody else. Divide by 10 is equal to this 10, this decimal point. If I remove the decimal point, I can just put a decimal point here, minus 32. Please, when a problem is being done on the board, really a good student will never look at the board. He will try to do by himself. This is self-reliant. Once we must be self-reliant. We have to depend on ourselves. This attitude is very important for a good student. I hope all the students who are watching are good students. Okay, so my dear friends, now 66.6 is there, minus 32. When it comes this side, it becomes plus 32. 66.6 plus 32 is nothing but 6. Nothing means there, means 0 is there. 8 and 9, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is the value of x you got? So the value of x is nothing but 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. So 37 degrees centigrade is also equal to 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. So in that way you can convert centigrade into Fahrenheit, even Fahrenheit into centigrade also, just by using this table. So please try to understand, my dear friends. Don't try to by heart. This is not the thing to be by hearted. If you understand one problem, you can solve 1,000 problems. If you by heart 1,000 problems, you cannot solve one single problem also, if the numbers are changed. So by hearting is not required. Just understand. Just remember this particular table. That's enough. Madam, please read the next problem.
Convert 40 kelvins to Celsius.
40 kelvins is equal to that is given to you, and in terms of centigrade scale, how many is being asked? How many centigrade? Convert them into what is the value of x. Okay. Now let us see, my dear friends. Now in terms of centigrade, let us have a calculation. Now before I discuss about that, I want to discuss something more about 273. 273. See, 273. What is the meaning of 273? Why did the scientists might have taken 273? Why not 272? Or why not 274? Why not 275? What is the reason why? See, so many questions we will get. The reason is he has taken a graph. See, my dear friends, as the temperature is increasing, when the temperature is increasing, if you are taking temperature on this particular scale and volume on this particular scale, generally as the temperature is increasing, the volume is also increasing. Just now we have seen in most of the cases, not in all the cases, but in most of the cases, the volume also increases. As the temperature increases, the volume is also increasing. Just now we have seen in the case of mercury, as the temperature is increasing, it is expanding and the volume is also increasing. So what did he do? He has taken a graph, 0 degrees centigrade. He has taken a graph, and using the graph, he started plotting the value of particular temperature, volume, temperature, volume, temperature, volume, temperature, volume. Like that, he started plotting the graph. It decreased the temperature minus 50, minus 60, minus 70, minus 80, minus 90 degrees. He could decrease the temperature. But finally, to what extent he can decrease? He couldn't do, because he is not having the machinery for decreasing. Understood? If you take a refrigerator, for example, you are having a machine at home where there is a refrigerator. In that refrigerator, you may get up to minus 10 degrees centigrade. If you take still something more sophisticated machinery, you may get up to minus 100 degrees centigrade, where, for example, carbon dioxide, minus 80 degrees centigrade, it converts into solid ice. So when we are doing ice creams and all, we require the solid carbon dioxide is kept in the ice cream boxes and all. You can understand. When the ice cream fellow, when the box fellow comes to your street with a bell, he will be coming. You just go and ask, not only the ice cream. The ice cream, inside the ice cream, in the box, there will be some small pieces, ice pieces. Such kind of ice pieces will be there. You just ask him. He will be giving you. Take that in a paper. Just you see. It vaporizes. There is no liquid state. It just directly vaporizes. You get just, that is nothing but a solid carbon dioxide. He keeps in that to maintain the temperature. Similarly, if you are just keep on decreasing the temperature, for example, in this room we are having oxygen is there, nitrogen is there. In the atmosphere we are having nearly about 21% is oxygen and nearly about maximum is 78% it is near about nitrogen is there and we are having 1%, all the rest of the gases are only 1%. So my dear friends, we are having so many gases. All these gases can be captured and kept in the bottle, like water bottle, can be converted into liquid. But for that you require minus 192 degrees centigrade, minus 180, minus 183. It has to go to a very high, very low temperatures. So to construct such kind of machinery it is difficult. To construct such kind of machinery it is difficult, but we can do it. We constructed up to minus 200, minus 250. We are able to do it. But the scientists very intelligently have taken a graph and just have drawn the graph. This is a straight line. Now he is getting a straight line graph. He just extended this graph. He just extended this graph. This graph is meeting at a temperature, at this temperature, that is the lowest temperature, that is 273 degrees Kelvin. So 273, sorry, at this temperature we call it as 0 Kelvin, absolute 0 Kelvin. At 0 degrees centigrade we call it as 273 degrees Kelvin. 0 degrees centigrade is equal to 273 Kelvin. So at 0 degrees Kelvin, the volume is cutting the x-axis. Means what? Volume is 0. See, means what? The substance is disappearing. Means what? You can't get any temperature less than that. That is the least possible temperature. That is the least possible temperature. So my dear friends, just from 0 he went up. Okay, from 0 he came, the 0 degrees centigrade he is coming up to 273 Kelvin. When he came up to 273 he got 0 degrees. That is the reason why he has taken it as 273. And he got the 0 Kelvin like this. Means that is called the absolute temperature. Absolute 0, any substance cannot exist. Its volume is not possible. Means, I think you understood. So, Kelvin has given it with the help of a graph. Let us thank to Kelvin for doing all the discussions. Now I think you might have understood why 273 number was taken. Okay, let us not go for the story. So my dear friends, now see. Now madam has given us a task that convert 40 degrees Kelvin into 273, how many degrees centigrade it is. Okay, now we know that C by 100 is equal to K minus 273 by 100. This is the standard form we know. Because 100 is there in both the denominators, we can cancel. Now we got a relation C is equal to K minus 273. So K is already given to you. That is 40. So C is nothing but 40 minus 273. That is nothing but minus 233 degrees centigrade. So the value of X is minus 233 degrees centigrade. Is okay, madam? So now we are able to convert Kelvin scale to centigrade scale. So now I think you are understanding how to convert from one scale to the other scale. Madam, any more question you want to ask me?
Next question.
Okay. Yes, madam?
Convert 125 degrees Celsius to Kelvin.
125 degrees
Celsius
centigrade to
Kelvin.
how many Kelvin? Okay. We again will take the help of the same standard notation. Centigrade madam have already given to you, that is 125. 125 is equal to something K, we don't know. Minus 273, just you bring this minus 273 this side, just add it up because it becomes plus. So 893. So the value is nothing but, the unknown value is nothing but, so in degrees Kelvin, you got the value, that is 398 Kelvin. 398 Kelvin. So we converted 125 degrees centigrade, we can even write it as 398 Kelvin. And this is a standard table. So you can use this table for any kind of conversion among these three. So I think some of the discussion we have done. Thank you very much for listening. Practice the problems. You become an author, take n number, at least take 10 problems, convert from centigrade to Fahrenheit, take any values of your wish and do practice it at least for 10 problems. By heart this. And take a book for physics and write it, write the notes, write the key points. In that key points, just note on the formulas. Just note on the key points, the most important key points, maintain that book and daily once you see that. Thank you very much. Thank you.